The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it'll be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am the show pony, David Rodgers, alongside Mr. Michael Heater. Byron Bagwell will be joining us here shortly. Great to have you all along tonight. Sponsored by the Fantastic Fire Brigade. Have a real fire engine or ladder truck or both. Come out to your special event. Kids, teens, adults, corporate events, tailgating. One call does it all. Right. Find the Fantastic Fire Brigade on Facebook or at www.fantasticfire.com. Let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. Michael Heater, I'm going to do a little something different. Okay. If you don't mind, sir. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Would you lead us in our prayer tonight?
I'd be happy to.
I appreciate it.
All right. Our Lord and Heavenly Father, we love you and we thank you for all that you do for us. We come before you this evening asking for your blessings on our community and our nation. We ask you for your guiding hand as we make our way through these days. We thank you for all that is good in our country, and we ask for your help in those areas where we could improve ourselves to serve you. Lord, we appreciate and thank you for everyone who makes the effort to protect and serve our nation. Our military, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, the Space Force, everyone who steps forward and protects the lives and the vitality of our citizens. Please place a protecting hand over those soldiers serving overseas as well as the ones serving here on the home front. We ask for you to also protect those that take care of us domestically, the truck drivers, the farmers, the firefighters, the law enforcement, the paramedics, construction workers, everyone who goes out day after day to provide for our nation. We ask you to bless them, and we thank you for what you do. We ask that you provide a comfort hand for those in need. We ask for your protection over those that are out and about on the roads. We ask for you to bless our community and our country and all those who are in it. We ask you for your support and your help and your guidance as we go through the coming days. We thank you for everything that you do for us. And it is in Christ's name that we pray these things. Amen.
Amen. Good job. Okay. Thank you very much, Mike. Let us stand for our pledge. Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Amen.
A great way to start off the show here. Let's get to our patriotic quote of the night, and then we'll welcome in some guests.
I like that.
All right, here we go, Dave.
Okay.
You will never know how much it has cost my generation to preserve your freedom. I hope and pray you will make good use of it. Founding Father.
Mm-hmm.
Read that again.
You will never know how much it has cost my generation to preserve your freedom. I hope and pray you will make good use of it.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. I don't even know if Mr. Bagwell has...
Costing... That leads me to think it was because they refer to the costs.
Yep. You will never know how much it has cost my generation to preserve your freedom. I hope you will make good use of it.
It sounds to me, and I don't know your notes, but
right.
That sounds like somebody who was a military leader. I'm going to go out I'm going to go out on a ledge. I'm going to say George Washington, and I'm going to say that was during his farewell speech when John Adams became president.
Very nice.
Well,
That's a great guess, Dave. Anybody?
I have no idea if that's true, but whichever,
Great answer, by the way.
John Hancock comes into my
Okay,
mind.
all right.
That's
He
a good
kind
answer.
of financed that time.
That's
you know.
good. That's a good
And,
answer.
Great answer.
And
That's a good
Benjamin
answer, too.
Franklin also comes into
Okay.
my mind
Yeah.
because his heart was filled with getting this country right. I'm
Yes.
going to go with Benjamin Franklin.
You're going to go Ben Franklin.
Okay.
You're going to go George Washington.
I am, yeah.
Very good guess. I didn't see any more guesses here. Y'all were very close. Very close.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of his brothers, by the way, Mr. John Adams.
Wait, do I get half
John
credit for saying John Adams?
You do get out credit
Can I
because you
use
did. You did mention John Adams, so that was John Adams.
Okay.
The lawyer, I mean, and
Yeah.
Yes, and that makes sense. All
he
the guesses are
understands
good.
the cost.
Well, I like the breakdown of the military
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he was using cost in there. He was trying to break.
Yeah.
It was good.
That's good.
John
That's
Adams.
good. Yeah.
All right, hey, don't go anywhere because here comes the round table.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
All right, this is all the new round table right here. We go around the region and around the table with the latest news and notes.
That's it.
Let us start off by bringing it to you by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Call Dave and Company, 904-964-3338. We begin in Alachua County, where Gainesville Fire Rescue battled a fire at the Sunoco gas station at Waldo Road and Northeast 23rd Avenue overnight. Waldo Road was shut down while crews extinguished the blaze. No gas pumps or fuel were involved in the fire, and no injuries, thank goodness.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, beginning next year, for those of you that haven't heard, Bradford and Union counties will no longer be represented by Bobby Payne in the Florida House of Representatives. Yeah, under a redistricting plan, say that 3 times fast,
There you go.
passed by the legislature earlier this year, the Bradford and Union counties will move from District 19, which is covered by Bobby Payne, to District 10, which now also includes Baker and Columbia counties, and Northern Alachua County, which includes the city of Waldo, La Crosse, High Springs, Alachua, and those areas in that district. David?
Over to Clay County, where a man called the Clay County Sheriff's Office with something to confess.
Yeah.
Deputies found 2 victims tied up for what could have been several days, David. The scene unfolded in Green Coast Springs on Country Road 315, or County Road 315, excuse me, according to Sheriff Michelle Cook. Aubrey Lumpkin, 46, was arrested at the crime scene after he called the police on himself. 2 victims were found tied up at the scene and had been there at least a few days. The investigation is continuing.
Wow.
Michael?
Hey, the annual American Values Dinner hosted by the Boy Scouts of America will be this Thursday night at the Charlie Johns Conference Center. The event will honor Bradford Sheriff Gordon Smith.
Say that 3 times.
You're no kidding. And the event begins at 6 p.m.
Nice award there for Gordon.
Yes, indeed.
The U.S. Small Business Administration announced that due to a steady decrease in activity, the Disaster Loan Outreach Center at the Ocala Public Library will shut down at 4 p.m. Thursday. SBA opened the center to provide one-on-one assistance to businesses and residents affected by the tornado that happened on March the 12th.
Yeah, that's right about that one. Hey, First Baptist Church in Stark inviting everybody in the community out to a Community Day celebration this Saturday afternoon from noon until 3 p.m. at the church on Jefferson Street in downtown Stark. A lot of games, a lot of things going on for all ages, and people that come out will get a chance to meet the new senior pastor, Matthew Page, who is coming to us from the Tennessee area. His very first official senior pastor service will be this Sunday, Easter Sunday, at the church.
Right. Finally, this week, 2 important divisions in public safety are being recognized. This week, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, is National Animal Control Officers Week and also National 911 Telecommunicators Week. Each day, 911 operators handle emergency calls for service and are truly the first responders.
That's right. Several counties have been doing several things throughout the region. Earlier today, the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners gave a proclamation recognizing their dispatchers and awarding a life-saving medal to one of their dispatchers who intervened, saving the life of a domestic violence victim. In Bradford County, on Thursday, they will be doing a recognition here in Stark for the 911 operators working at the Bradford County Sheriff's Office, and that is being mirrored throughout the entire region as well.
That's great. Now here's your weather service and your weather forecast from Austin Stevens Weather Service. After incredible Chamber of Commerce weather across the region, clouds moved back into the area and bringing a chance of rain later on Friday. Seasonal temperatures are expected, and we are in the heart of the oak pollen season. Mike, take us away.
Absolutely.
This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook and have a detailed local forecast sent right to you.
Dave, you're absolutely right. Now, the temperatures are nice, but the pollen is killing us. Take a look at these numbers. We're talking 9.9 today, 10.3, 10.7 on Thursday, 9.6 on Friday, 9.2 on Saturday. Why is those numbers starting to drop a little bit? Well, you know why. What caused them to drop? It is that chance of rain that David mentioned coming in on Friday. The regional map will show you exactly what we're talking about. You can see that we've got temperatures that are comfortable throughout the entire region, but you see that blob over there on the left-hand side? That is going to be making its way here. This is a graphic for tomorrow midday. Chance of rain in New Orleans at a temperature of 79 degrees. Now, we're not expecting any severe weather. And to be honest, we're only talking maybe a 20% chance of rain. But we will see an increase in the moisture as that system makes its way across the area. Locally, we're going to see clouds ahead of that. So we're going to see rain making its way into Friday, but we're going to see clouds, predominantly a little bit of hit and miss rain Wednesday and Thursday. Better chance of rain on Friday, but then it starts to clear out. So giving us a fairly decent weekend, I think, but it's not going to be as great as we've had for the last few days, unfortunately, but it is still going to be nice. Look at temperatures topping out in the mid-80s with low temperatures in the mid-60s, looking at what's going to be probably some pretty comfortable weather for the next 3 to 5 days. Also, just as a reminder, folks, hurricane season, less than 60 days away. Now is the time to make your plans accordingly. Hurricane season starting on June 1st, runs through November 30th, and we will probably see an uptick in some activity as we go along. Nothing outrageous, but again, it's a little too early to tell. The models are coming out, though, telling us we're probably looking at what will be above average season, and we'll wait and see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks.
Wow, that was a great weather report, Mike. I tell you, hey, you were talking about that pollen count, and I think you hear it in all of our voices. From David to you to myself. I know Byron's going to be joining us in here in a few minutes. I know he's experiencing this thing. Mitchell experiences this thing. So I hope, I don't want a lot of rain, but I hope it's enough to wash.
Yeah, well, and I think we'll get a smattering of rain out of it. I don't think that it's not going to be a washout by any means. I'm hoping for it not to be.
Absolutely.
I'm finally getting moved back into the house on Friday, so I'm hoping anyway, for some decent weather. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, hey, always, as you know, each and every week, when we do have time, I know, Michael, I think you've only missed 1 or 2. How many trivia nights have you missed?
I've missed 2 in the last 6 months.
In the last 6 months. I think I've missed 2 or 3 within the last 6 months as well. But there's 2 places where you can have trivia. Trivia on Wednesday nights at the Fun Point. Right. Michael Heater, he is your host over there. It starts at 7 sharp. Right. Got a lot of categories, a lot of things. Got a what's the date category. I sort of like that. What's that up?
Yeah, we do indeed. We've been throwing out some different ideas, and the audience really loves some of the categories we've come up with. If you haven't joined us for Wednesday night trivia at Fun Point, you need to come out here. One of the categories, what's the date? Watch the show here. get easy points when
Oh,
you do the
man,
show
here we
on
go.
Wednesday nights. But hey, that's not the only one. We've brought back Name That Tune. We bring in a number one song, a number one movie, number one something at a time period. We play the first part of the song. You identify the song and the artist for an easy points on that one. And of course, everyone's favorite category that we do, you gotta be kidding. That is a crazy, insane law still on the books somewhere in the United States. I give you the law, you give me the state. No, it's not as difficult as you may think. We're giving away gift certificates and free appetizers playing poker. It's a great night had by all. We encourage you to come out Wednesday nights at Fun Point, and then
Thursday nights over at the Downtown Grill.
Exactly.
We have team trivia over there as well. We start at 7:30 over there versus Mike's 7.
Yes.
And I tell you, I've been thinking about that 7 o'clock thing. And the only problem with what I've got right now is sometimes I work late on Thursdays.
Correct.
So it's I'm pushing it to get there at 7:30. So I'm gonna leave it at 7:30 until work backs off a little bit.
Yeah.
But we've got some of the same categories, same things that Mike's doing over there. We're doing here. We really have a great time. Got a lot of visual categories. Mike started doing a lot more visual categories: movies, sports, famous people, famous things, famous objects. Starting to bring a lot of those in. Doing a little bit of sort of a Family Feud thing for our ending question.
Yep.
Top 7 answers, top 6 answers. We're just mixing it up a little bit, but that is on Thursday night. And like Michael's, what's the date? Easy points. I'm gonna give you some too. And guess what, Dave? I know you're fixing to show it, aren't you? So we call it And the Answer Is. And the answer is for this Thursday night at the Downtown Grill. Wait for it. Wait for it. And Tiger!
yes, isn't
So
that
Tiger,
interesting?
that could be Tiger Woods. That could be, Tiger. It could be anything.
Exactly.
So,
Is it a Raggy Tiger?
it could be. It could be a
I
raging
just
tiger.
dated myself.
I know you did.
Could be Crouching Tiger
Crouching and Hidden Dragon.
or Hidden Bagwell.
Or Hidden Bagwell. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Hidden back.
Yeah, well, you've been hiding from us both of the trivia, so we figured we'd get you. Hey, can't help it with work, can you?
No,
that's
You
exactly
got that right.
That's the problem with it.
If I could add, I go to both of your guys' trivia nights.
Right.
And man, I just haven't realized how smart I really am.
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? See?
The questions that you both put together are different in its own right.
Right.
And but it's challenging.
And that's one of the things that I like for me personally, and everyone knows if you come to Wednesday night trivia, I'm big on. I throw a clue out every week. I tell them, and I'll tell you if you want to come out tomorrow night. On this date, a lot of my questions are based on the date. So tomorrow, we'll have historical questions based on the date. If you want easy points and you want to do well with them, a little bit of review, things that's happened on this date, famous birthdays, famous dates of death,
Yes.
stuff like that one. We do a lot of that as well. And clearly, if you participate in both, as Dave will attest, we don't
and I
normally
enjoy
have
the
questions.
I enjoy the one, Dave, you have at the end where the multiple answers to that one question.
Yes. Yes.
And Mike, the music,
Yep.
name that tune
Name that
kind
tune.
of thing that
Yeah, a lot of
we
fun.
really enjoy that.
And we wanted to. We didn't want it to be the same because if it's the same, then
Why
you
go?
know why go,
Yeah.
or go to one and not the other.
Right.
That's why we're trying to make it different, and so you'll want to go to both.
Yes.
Like like we were just saying, he does a lot of music, or at least a category worth of music.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this: I know what Mike's strong points are. He knows what mine are. If you come to my trivia, you better know world geography.
Oh yeah.
You better know rivers, lakes, and things like that. Any kind of geography. I love
Capitals.
that. State capitals. Anything geographical wise, I like. I like the science category. I know as you do as well.
This is true.
I throw in a math every once in a while. I do like the math. I like animals. I think
The other night you
I
had
think Michael likes animals.
You had a picture of a building, and I just could not, for the life of me, figure out
It was the Transamerica.
what that
Pyramid.
building was.
No,
But
it's in San
I
Francisco.
think it was in Colorado, wasn't it?
That was San Francisco. The Transamerica
San Francisco,
Pyramid.
right.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
And y'all didn't get the building, but you knew where it was. And Shirley, she just couldn't remember the name of
the train.
so we do things like that. And eventually, Mike's just been busy. I've been busy. We're trying to catch up on some things. We're going to do a swap at some point.
Yeah,
maybe within next month, 2 months, we're going to do a swap over. So be looking out for that. We'll explain that to you as it goes.
I'd like to see a grand finale where the two of you work together.
You know what?
Well, we may do that. We just may do that. We just may do that. That's a great idea, David.
You're both entertained.
But hey, here's the deal right here. This is what everybody loves right here. Now, everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vellis, and the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan Tillman, Mark Crawford, and of course Cliff Smelly. Here's What's the Dates. These are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph in the second week of April in what year? Body discovered in Melrose. Star firefighters negotiating for higher pay and benefits, Byron. Lottie man killed in crash. Will corporation lead to consolidation? Ooh. Was that April of 2015? Second week of April of 2015. 2017, 2019, Byron's already smiling.
Yes, he is.
So... there we go. Well,
There we go.
There we go. Going back. There. Well,
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, and he flashed the answer. See.
That was real quick.
Yes, it
We'll
was.
see if you got it.
Yeah. Body discovered in Melrose. Star firefighters negotiating for higher pay and benefits. Lottie man killed in crash. Will corporation lead to consolidation? Was that in second week of April of 2015, 2017, or 2019?
Oh, well.
All right. I'll read the first one. Mike, you read the second one.
All right.
You read the third one, and I'll read the fourth. Authorities were investigating the death of Matthew Simmer, whose body was found in Melrose over the weekend. Bradford County Sheriff Gordon Smith reported the discovery of the body, David, in a Santa Fe Lake Canal.
That's right. Yeah, I actually responded.
Yeah, you were responding to that.
Hey, Stark City Commissioners are considering salaries and benefit requests that would settle the last round of negotiations with city firefighters. The union met with the City Commission for the first time in 18 years, according to Union President Greg Starling.
Sean Hunter Wells, 23, was traveling south on US 301 off
North of Fifth Tone.
Fifth Tone Road in Jacksonville when he was struck by another vehicle head-on. Wells died in the crash.
Commissioners for the City of Stark and Bradford County continue to talk about the cooperation during the last workshop and broached the topic of consolidating some services. Thank you, David.
Here we go. Okay.
Was that April, second week of April of 2015, 2017, or 2019? This is your chance to get in because tonight we are going to pull a winner for last month, David. We haven't done that yet for that $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. We'll do that here in just a moment. This is how you play. If you're new to the show, hey, you get your name put in this hat. If you guess that date right, you got as many as 4, sometimes 5, depending on how many Tuesdays we have. Hey, show them, man. It's there, Mike.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so we'll pull your name out at the end of the month, and you'll get a $25 gift certificate from the Downtown Grill. So, your chance to guess, and hey, most of these, if you don't remember dates very well, most of these are guesses anyway.
Yeah.
Mike does a good job of trying to put some things together that you may try to remember. But, hey, we all don't have great memories anymore, David, a lot of us. And sometimes, hey, it's just a guess. So we're going to check the comments here real quick. Joshua McDaniel, thank you for joining us. Melissa Cribbs, thank you for joining us. Samantha Cook is on. Gail Allen. Austin, how are you, man? Hope everything's going well, buddy. Yeah. We have talked a little bit about some things. I know me and you've been talking several mornings. We're going to get out there and get some things done for you. Yeah. I promise you, big guy. Eddie Sigmund's on. John Probsal's on. Greg Roll's on. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Albie! Tammy Testone is on, and Albie sends his love. Roger, the Tornado Cruise, is watching. Chantel Rich is watching. Hello, Chantel. Melba B. Johnson is on. Sharon Petterpin, the model, says, hello, guys. David, you look good. The haircut and gray hair makes you look very distinguished.
It actually does.
Does it? Y'all like that?
It does, yeah.
Dave, are we still going to do the... yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. John Garner. Yeah, that's a secret. Ancient Chinese secret at that. John Garner's on from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Bobby Gibson from big Birmingham area. Todd Gainey's on. Roy Jackson's on. Jeff Goins is on. Hari Vaughn is on. Roy Jackson says 2017.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, here we go. Mitchell Gunner says 2017 is my guess. Tammy Testone says 2019. Melissa Cribb says 2017. And whoever else, you still got a couple of minutes.
Robert McGee is on too.
Okay, what did Robert say?
Robert hadn't said anything yet.
Okay.
He's on.
Mr. McGee is on. Robert McGee. Jimmy Sparks is on. Jimmy, you want to take a guess? 2015, 2017, or 2019? Get your name entered for the drawing at the end of the month for that $25 gift certificate. I'm going to start with you, Byron. What do you think?
I think that's spiked, is what I think.
Do you really? Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah.
I'm going to say 2019.
McGee says 2017. Sparks says 2019. Mitchell Gunner says David is going to have Dave dye it blonde. Boy, I don't know about that look.
No.
Oh.
You know what? If I go that route, I ain't coming on the next week. Y'all boys can have the show.
We're gonna have to stick a
But
surfboard up
He's
on
gonna,
the
if you do
back.
that, he's got to dye everything.
Well, right. I mean, you just can't live this
But wait a
sport.
second, though. But think about that. I want you to look at him. Look at this. Blonde hair with his history. The Nature Boy. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, how much blonde you got?
I got enough.
Do you got enough? You know, I could just see the boys at work now, and some of them guys are on the show. As soon as I walk in there, and them boys are sitting there at their safety meeting, do you know what they're going to do?
I do.
You're never going to hear the
I
end
know,
of that. You're never going to
I
hear the
am
end of
telling
that.
you right now.
There'd be a collective woo!
You say the Nature Boy, and it's really funny. We have this older gentleman that I work with that actually looks like the Nature Boy.
Really?
Has hair like the Nature Boy. The ponytail, no,
Really?
it's long, the whole entire 9 yards.
Wow.
And guess what he did about a month ago?
Cut his hair.
He went and met the Nature Boy.
Oh.
Has a picture in the office of him and the Nature Boy.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'm telling
Cool.
you, the only way the only differences between the two is the Nature Boy is actually pretty much a lot bigger than he is.
Right.
But I mean, if you look at their
Just real quick.
if you look at their faces, I mean,
Well, you know, Byron, David has got a good candidate for any color in the rainbow. Red,
Oh, I like the rainbow.
bright blue.
The rainbow.
Rainbow.
no, please don't. No.
Yeah.
I'll tell y'all real quick.
White or red would look good.
What is that
Yeah.
color? Seminole,
Seminole gold, garnet gold.
garnet and gold.
I will tell you this, just real quick story while people are guessing. By the way, the model said 2017. Roy said
David
2017. Yeah, I've been called. Yeah, David Flair's on here by Mitchell. Yvonne, go back real quick. She wanted to know what the question was. I guess Yvonne Stevens is joining us just a little bit late. Body discovered in Melrose. This is what's our guess. What's the date? If you get this right, you get to be put into a drawing for a $25 gift card. I know it's been a little bit since you've done that. We're facing getting ready to pick a winner tonight. Star firefighters negotiating for higher pay and benefits. Lottie man killed in crash. And will cooperation lead to consolidation? That's your little topics you got to choose from there and to think about. Was that April of 2015, April of 2017, or April of 2019, second week? All you got to do is just take a guess, Yvonne, and then if you guess it right, you'll be put in for a drawing real quick. Never been out of Pascagoula, Mississippi hardly in my whole life, so that's where I stayed, grew up. That's how I know Renee and some of these guys that joined in. Wow. Me and Renee was best buds pretty much, growing up. And when I went into the service, that's the first time I ever left the nest hole. Let's just call it that, left the nest. So I went to boot camp in Orlando, right in the middle of summer. Dead of heat, man. Dave, it's not, Dave knows. Dave went to Great Lakes.
Yeah, January, February.
Yeah,
March.
which was cold as HE double hockey sticks.
Yes.
And then, of course, I got the opposite. It's hotter than Hades down there in Orlando, especially with those boondockers and those dadgum dungarees. God, that was garbage. But anyway, so, we did all that. And then they said, well, you're going to A school in Moffett Field, California. How about that? Now, that's going from Orlando, flying I've never been on a plane, all the way over to Moffett Field, California.
You're 17?
I'm 19. Just turned 19.
Is that around 29 Palms?
So, no. That's up in what we call Silicon Valley. Up there, Sunnyvale area, San Jose, that area there. So, did A school there. But in the meantime, I was working out, man. I had a body like granite, I'll be honest with you. And y'all ever heard of Santa Cruz Boardwalk? Mm-hmm. Santa Cruz Boardwalk. So that's where we would go and hang out during during the weekends and stuff. And
Kind of like their version of Venice.
but there you go.
Yeah,
So
that's what it is.
I met a girl out there. Her name was Martha. Very nice girl. She's Hispanic from San Jose. So she thought that, and she loved my hair. I had it as close to, tolerate as you could get. Yeah. So I pushed the limit. So she decided, so we started dating there for a while. She decided, all right, I'm going to take you on a shopping spree. So she took me on a shopping spree, bought me the first double necklace shirt that I've ever had. It was double-breasted and it buttoned up like this. She bought me a Ray and a Gredwin, pants to match. All right. Wow. She says, oh, man, took care of me. She says, I don't stay over there on the weekends. Then she says, I'll tell you what. She says, I want to do something with your hair. Do you mind? I said, no. What do you want to do with it? She says, I tell you what. She says, let's just go over to my beautician in San Jose. Let's do a couple of things. So I said, okay. She says, I want to put some color in it. I was like, okay, no problem.
I take it your hair was...
I met her at the club on base because it was black. It was jet black.
Jet black.
It was jet black. Because by that time, I was still a young man.
Yeah.
So I met her at the club, and this is how this all started happening. So anyway, she takes me there. Here I am. We're getting ready to go out to dinner on Friday night. I'm in that double-breasted shirt, got them slacks on, got them nice shoes on. What does she do? Puts bleach or that blonde dye through my hair and made it like a dadgum tiger stripe on both sides of my hair and came around over the ear.
Oh, man.
I hadn't been on base yet. I hadn't been on base yet. I was off Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, man.
I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is going to go over. She said, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
This was early 80s, wasn't it?
Yes. How about 81, 82?
Yeah.
So,
this Miami thing going
this was way faster paced. This was going way too fast for me. Yeah. I'm used to, slow paced. California is wide open. Dave, you know it. Yeah. Y'all know it. Y'all been there. Hey, it's wide open. It's fast paced. And my gosh, I get back on Monday. And them boys, man, were just riddling me to death, man. My classmates, my instructor, he said, you met a female over here, didn't you? And first thing he said, my instructor, he said, you met a female over here, didn't you? I said, yeah. He said, you been dating her a while? Yeah, a couple of weeks now. He says, yep. He also guessed, he said, she's from San Jose, isn't she? I said, yep. Hispanic? Yep. He was just guessing, and my classmates, man, are just busting a gut. Because the same thing happened to him. When he was out there, and he's been out there, the same thing happened to him. He said, fast-paced, this girl want to do this, and this. And I'm telling you, that was the only time that I've ever had any kind of blondish streak in my hair. Yeah. But that's just the way, man, it goes, man. You go from a small town, i.e. Stark or Pascagoula or whatever, and then, you go to Orlando where you get a little taste of it, you know what I mean? And then ship you out to the West Coast. That was fast-paced. But, I got used to that a little bit. So when I came home on leave,
It was
I was
shop.
waiting. It was culture shop for everybody.
Everybody. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we would go to the clubs that we would hang out, man, and I'd go in there. I was already built up, man. Had that dude, man. Everybody's like, man, are you serious? 8 months has did this to you? And I'm thinking, yeah, 8 months did that. That's for sure. So, real quick story anyway. So Dave, we'll have to mess with that.
Yeah, pretty good.
Roy Jackson, 2017. Robert McGee said, Martha Washington.
Martha.
Washington.
From San Jose.
Say, yes, there she is. Edward Fairprint says 2018. Yvonne Stevens says 2017. Washington. Robert McGee.
I bet her last name was something like Rodgers or.
What do you think it was?
Rodriguez?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you the last letter of her name. Started with an S.
The last letter started with an S.
Her last name, yep, started with an S. Martha.
Smith.
So it ended with an S.
Started with an S and ended with an S. Okay, I'll give you that, Mike.
Okay.
Sands.
Ooh, you're very close. It's right on Timothy Dunn. I know you'll want to say it.
What's funny is the only thing that comes to my mind is Summers, and I don't think I know that's
No.
it.
Shirley. Sheila.
It's a Hispanic name.
It's a Hispanic name.
Yeah, she's got an American name, which because her dad was American, mother's American, dad's Spanish.
Does it have a Z in it?
2 S's.
Well, I mean, there is.
No, there's not a Z in it.
There is a Hispanic name that's got 2 S's. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce that without butchering.
Actually, this name's really simple.
Santa Maria's.
Man, you're getting close. You're getting close.
Santos?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Bing, 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 bing,
Santos.
bing. Santos. Martha Santos. Yep,
From San Jose.
from San
San
Jose.
Jose.
And
Not Valley Forge.
Not Valley Forge. Not Sunnyvale. Not
You need to stay away from that.
not Redwood City. Not,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Tied. Here we go. All right, everybody's in. All right. So what did you? Wait a minute. What did our boys say? What did you say?
19.
He said 19.
17.
17. You can't guess.
I can't guess.
Yeah, 19.
All right.
Bam! April 2019. Whammo! Let's see who's winners. Oh man, not too many. Jimmy Sparks is in.
Yeah, Jimmy. I'll say Jimmy's in.
Yeah.
Looks
hey,
like I'm going to win it next
Tammy Testone's in. And I think that is it, baby.
There's a couple more.
Was there a couple more? Okay, you got them? Okay.
Yeah, we got them.
All right, so that's good. All right, now it's time to draw for the $25 gift card.
And
I'll give it to you.
the winner is. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
All right, can I take a look at it first?
I don't care. You know.
And the winner is... Bye-bye! Byron! That's what you get, Byron.
No.
Negative. That ain't happening. So I got to draw another.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This is fixed, by the way. I just lost it.
You just lost it.
Somebody else is going to win it.
Hey! David Rodgers!
All right.
All right, that's enough of that.
All right, come on,
That's
put
a y'all
doing now. Come on.
Get a pull a real one there.
All right. Bam! All right. I think that's a real one. That was a
Fire
slide.
Bagwell again.
That really?
Yeah.
Well, throw it behind you then.
Turn around.
Actually,
show
it
the
says
screen.
Melissa Cribbs.
Yay! Melissa
And I believe she is a first-time winner.
She is a first-time winner, Melissa.
Congratulations, Melissa.
There we go.
Oh, thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate it. She says, happy birthday, old goat.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she didn't put old goat. She didn't put old goat there. She didn't put old goat there.
We just
So-
added that for accuracy.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so there you go. That's how you get a
Y'all
chance
gotta
to win.
stop that because we're all so close in age that it's,
Yes,
if
it
he's
is.
an old goat,
We
so
are.
am I, and so are you.
Yeah.
So
Right, Dave? Oh, never mind.
We'll just we'll
Yeah.
stick with the greatest of all time and leave it at that.
And leave it at that, yeah. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll be right back after this message with Mr. Barnback.
That's it.
Eh?
Yeah.
Schuster and Sabin is the leading firm in Florida with 8 offices from the Panhandle to the Florida Keys to handle your claims for personal injury, workplace violations, and PIP claims for medical professionals. Visit us online at www.piplaw.com or call 24 hours a day at 877-511-7829. Schuster and Sabin Law Offices for all your legal needs.
And now, with the latest national and international update, here is Your World Report with Byron Bagwell.
Hey, here we are back on the Spot with David Rodgers. Let me introduce everybody to my left, making a show for the second time, B, in a row. He had some things going on, a lot of work conflict, but here he is, the analyzer. Here he is, the Byron Bagwell, back in the back there. Mr. Dave Holland producing the show. Over here to my right, filling in for Mitchell Gunner and doing our weather is Mr. Michael Heater, called Funtastic. And I am your host, David Rodgers, i.e. the show pony and the equalizer. I like the equalizers. I'll tell you why I did.
I'm still stuck on the high priest of the
Church of the Faithful Truth.
The new high priest.
Yeah, well, we'll do that. Absolutely. I will explain what Mitchell Gunner is doing here toward the end of the show. Byron, glad to have you in. A lot of things going on in the world today.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things going on in our community, in our state. But, hey, we want to hit the national scene.
Sure.
What's going on? What are we looking at? Some of the things that are...
Sure. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, patriots, infidels, and miscreants.
That's it.
Just wanted to reintroduce that. I hadn't done that in a while. You know, we sit back and we look at what's going on in the news, and there's a lot of people who see it and just turn it off because it disgusts them. One of the things I wanted to talk about tonight is the Hunter Biden laptop.
Oh, hello.
And some of the things that are on the Hunter Biden laptop. Because there are some things in there that basically implicate the President of the United States in Hunter Biden's dealings. And there are reasons to believe that that's true because it is Hunter Biden's laptop. There are emails in there that say, basically talking to his sister, that at least he doesn't make you pay half his salary to him. And the only he that they could possibly be talking about is Joe Biden.
Clearly.
So, and there is just a bunch of stuff on that laptop that is really, really bad. There's an investigation going on with Hunter with the IRS.
Right.
So you have all of this stuff together, and what do you have? What you have is you basically have a crime family running our country. Because guess what? Joe Biden would get Hunter these jobs in places that he had no business being in, had no experience in, especially the one in the oil industry that he was in, and I believe that was in the Ukraine. Burisma was the name of it. He even interviewed and went, well, I just got the job. Oh, how do you get a job when you don't know anything like what he had in an oil company? You don't. Unless somebody is influencing with power somebody in that business. Well, here's the other thing that happened with Burisma. Joe Biden went to the Ukraine. Same Ukraine that we're hearing in the news now that's under attack by Russia. Coincidence? Probably not, but okay. So he goes to the Ukraine, demands of the new Ukrainian president that he fires the prosecutor that is prosecuting, guess who? His son. And if he doesn't, he's not getting billions of dollars from the United States. And they said, you can't do that. Well, here, call Barack Obama. I can do that. And then his comment was, well, son of a... They fired the prosecutor.
Yeah.
What I am going to say about this is if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck,
oh boy,
it normally is a duck. And it does not take people that are extremely intelligent to put two and two together when it comes to what's on that laptop, and there is a ton of it. All you got to do is look it up on the net, and you will start finding information out that's on that laptop, this public domain. There's about to be a dump of another, like 1,800 emails and pieces of information that are on that laptop. And when that comes out, from my understanding, there is going to be some stuff on there that really is going to be damning to him and to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, you can look up all this stuff all you want to. You can look at it and go, that was quid pro quo. It really wasn't a quid pro quo from Joe Biden. What it was extortion, which is worse than a quid pro quo. Right. You can't do that. He's president of the vice president of the United States at the time. You cannot demand that some president of another country fire a prosecutor that is prosecuting your son, or you're going to withhold aid from the United States. That's illegal.
Right.
And they got him on
That's the biggest conflict of interest I've ever heard of in my whole life.
It's extortion. It's what it is.
It is.
It sounds illegal.
Well, it is illegal. You can't say you either fire this person or we're not giving you the aid. You can't do that. That's extortion.
I understand that, but I mean, it's so easy to understand that it just sounds illegal.
There is actual video out there that you could watch of Joe Biden, our president, doing that. And we had Nancy Pelosi going on at the time about, well, President Trump on his call committed a quid pro quo. No, he didn't. All he was asking was them to investigate what was going on. That's not a quid pro quo. Right. That's a leader of the freest nation in the world going, please tell me what's going on, because one of my citizens has royally screwed up when he was in our government over there. And I really want to know what's going on, because if he did what I think he did, he belongs in a jail cell. And yes, I'm talking about the President of the United States.
Well, and there's actually, I mean, that happened several years ago. It's actually gotten even worse now.
Oh,
I presume that you heard about Ronnie Jackson.
Okay.
So Ronnie Jackson is the former White House physician who served under the Obama and Trump administration.
Okay, now I know now I know who you're talking about. Okay. Yes.
So he came out on Friday, and I mean, just laid it out there. Put out a quote that said that Biden doesn't know what's going on in the Ukraine. He went on to say that he doesn't know what's going on with anything. I mean, he tweeted this out. I mean, it's public record like that. He claims that he's not cognitively capable of running the nation and says that he needs to immediately resign.
Okay, now, let me explain this to you.
Yeah.
I did not need Ronnie Jackson to tell me that.
Well,
anybody that's got a brain in their head and is not completely biased could have seen this at the time of the election and before.
Yes.
I was telling people, I don't care what your affiliation is. Right. How can you vote for somebody that's not mentally all there? How can that person's wife allow them to run? And on top of that, how can any political party know this because they knew it and allow them to run? The answer to the political party thing is they're using him as a puppet.
That's correct.
And that right there should be enough to get rid of the Democrat Party completely, because they've got a man that they put in power that does not know what he's doing. And they're using him as a puppet dictator, which is illegal. The man should be running the country himself, and he's not capable of it. Well, the DNC did this.
So it takes it even to another step further. For those of you that may have seen the big press conference last week when Obama swooped in and saved the Affordable Care Act, it was very telling. Byron, I believe you saw it. Dave, I know you did too. If you hadn't seen it, go back and watch. It's very telling. Because Obama comes in and discusses how they're making some fixes to a glitch in the system for dependents and that sort of thing like that one. But then at the end, everybody swarms around Obama and they're doing that. And Biden is sitting there with this confused look on his face, wandering around the room.
Yeah.
It almost
It's sickening.
It's pathetic.
He's supposed to be the leader of the free world. That is sickening.
And they ignore him because the gentleman that was getting the attention is the one who's been calling the shots for the last 2 years, and that's because he has. In fact, it was very telling that they made the announcement that Obama officially went to the White House. I liked how they did that. They said it was an official visit because he's been unofficially running the country from behind the scenes, trying to dictate how things are supposed to be doing, basically taking a third term.
Months and months and months ago, I said that the person that's behind this is Barack Obama.
Absolutely.
Not the only person, because he's still got all of his cronies and spots in our government.
Sure.
They are the ones that's pulling the strings. They are the ones that's telling Joe Biden what to do. They are the ones that are doing this.
Yes.
And that is illegal. It's unconstitutional. And the man should be thrown in prison for it.
Absolutely.
Because the leader of the free world is supposed to be the leader of the free world, and that's supposed to be Joe Biden, not somebody behind the scene pulling his strings. And if what the White House physician said is true, then somebody needs to pay for what's been going on through Joe Biden. Because I'm telling you right now, the man has done some of the craziest stuff that you will ever see in your life. Because his strings are being pulled.
Let's look at the history here. And I've been listening to what you guys were saying. You guys are spot on. Let's look at the history here.
Sure.
From the time that he was the Democratic nominee.
For the how many time?
Yeah. Till now.
They caught him in the 80s lying about where he went, how many degrees he had, his grade point average, and everything else wasn't good enough to get rid of him. They got rid of him back then.
So let's look at the history of some of the things, some of the most major debacles that you'll ever see in a presidency. And let's start first with the daggum ordeal that we're still dealing with in Afghanistan. That is about the ugliest thing I've ever seen. No coordination, no planning, nothing on his behalf to tell me that he made a conscientious effort to get everybody out of there safely, to get our equipment out of there. They just left it there like, Dave, me and you was leaving a picnic basket out there at a picnic.
David, I know you watched that video I sent of you. I'm not going to say it in the same way that this guy said it, because he just rips this whole entire thing wide open. And it's ugly. But at the same time that this was going on, them giving all of these weapons to terrorists, which is what they did when they left, because they left them to the Taliban, and the Taliban is terrorists.
Yep.
Sure.
Military weapons, military-grade weapons, Black Hawks, tanks, a whole bunch of different of our equipment. Mm-hmm. They were actually putting a ban on certain ammunition on the American public. So you give weapons and ammunition to a terrorist organization, but you don't trust the people in your own country to have that stuff? They don't care. They don't care at all. They're going to push their agenda, and they're going to push it through. And I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, that's
because I wanted to make that point. Because it's accurate. It's factual. They don't care.
No. And look, how many times has that been brought up since? None now. Do you know why?
Because the media,
the media has just squabashed it.
They control the narrative. They control the narrative about anything.
But what's the big story right now? The Ukraine.
Sure.
So now, we put this war ahead of all that, and it's like it's all forgotten about. But I can tell you right now, the American people ain't forgot about it. If you got any kind of brain in your head, if you got any kind of feeling and any kind of sense or any kind of loyalty to this country, you haven't forgotten about that. And I'm going to tell you right now, somebody needs to pay a price for that too, because as you said before, there is still American citizens over in Afghanistan right now that are still either dead or trying to get the heck out of there.
13 American soldiers died.
Yep.
Joe Biden goes to the funeral and looks at his watch the whole entire time, like he had somewhere else to be.
Yeah.
Seriously, those are people that's blood is on his hands because the way he did this.
Right.
Afghanistan. The American people are not going to forget about that because I'm not going to let this population that we get to either. $4.07 gas.
Right.
That's twice what I was paying
Oh yeah.
when a certain other person was in office.
I filled up my company vehicles
Go ahead.
at $5.55 a gallon for diesel.
Ridiculous.
Inflation through the roof because they printed trillions of dollars.
Right.
The price of groceries through the freaking roof. Nobody can afford to eat more, have as much food as they had, or a lot of people can't. I don't know how people are making it right now that are on limited budgets. But those four things alone, you need to send the Democrat Party a very clear message, not only during the midterms, but you need to send them a very clear message in this next presidential election. Because I'm telling you, if you think things are better right now, you need your head examined.
So let's take that one step further. For those of you that are keeping score, the National Bureau of Economic Research and Committee to Unleash Prosperity, which is a great one there.
Unleash prosperity.
Yes, to unleash prosperity. Look that one up because it's really good here. They released a study. It was a 2-year study over how states managed and fared and coped with COVID. I know this is going to come as a shock to you.
Not going to come as a shock to me because I know what he's about to say.
I'm surprised that Florida ranked as low as it did.
Really?
Yeah, we were 6th in the nation. Number 1 in the country for managing COVID.
Huh?
Who do you think?
Colorado.
No.
Arizona is for some reason is sticking in.
You're both in the neighborhood. Texas.
Well, okay.
Number 1.
I can
did
understand
very well
that.
with that one. Okay. Republican-led areas dominated 9 out of the 10. Out of the top 10. And then the bottom 7, all blue states.
New York,
Of course.
New Jersey.
Stop right there. New York, 49th. New Jersey at the bottom.
50.
See, yep.
Just above them, Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania today made the decision that they are going back to mask mandates.
Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, by the way.
That's correct.
Yep.
That place is so crooked, it's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe the corruption that goes on in
And you know
elections in
what,
Philadelphia.
and Byron, you know what's so funny about that? Because years ago, when I was studying in school, I wouldn't have said a bad word about Philadelphia. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia, where Ben Franklin's from. I wouldn't have never said that.
The Liberty Bell, there, the original Continental Congress was there. If you think our founding fathers would have put up with this crap that's going on in there, they would have shot people is what they would have done.
If the Liberty Bill hadn't been cracked before then, it would have cracked this year, I can assure you.
Absolutely.
You know, the bottom line to all of it is really simple. And this was stated very, I'm not going to say eloquently because this guy used a sledgehammer with it. Are you better off now than you were then?
Exactly.
The answer is no.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And then the other debacle here, besides the other little stuff, and I call it little, it's not because it affects all of us, is this Ukrainian war. Russia should have never invaded Ukraine. I'm telling you right now, if there was another guy that I know of that was in power right now,
it would never
we
happen.
wouldn't even be talking about this.
Because it
We
would
wouldn't
never
be talking.
happened.
Isn't that right? Afghanistan would have never happened.
That's correct.
It would have never happened.
He may have pulled the troops out of Afghanistan,
Yeah, he
but
may
it
have.
sure wouldn't have happened like it did.
No.
And I'm going to tell you When Putin threatened to do that and started amassing troops at the border, Donald Trump would have looked at him and said,
Yeah. No.
you really don't want to do that,
No.
because when you do, we're going to...
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he crossed the border, that's exactly what would have happened. And he wouldn't even need to done anything except cruise missiles and drones and airstrikes. As pitiful as the forces have been that have come out of Russia, everybody was so scared of all these Russian troops, how good they were. I'll take poorly equipped Ukrainians because they're kicking their rear ends. And if you equip them the right way, they may be in Moscow by the next month. This is what I would highly suggest.
Well, what you were saying about Afghanistan, Osama bin Laden, let's go back to 79, when, the Russians wanted to attack Afghanistan, and, we provided some weapons to help out in this, and Osama bin Laden, of course, you know how that payback was, but I don't even have to go into that. Right. But how when we started giving them weapons, helping them out, started supplying them, you see what they did to the Russians, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
They backed them right. They whooped the Russians. I'm gonna be honest
They
with you.
They whooped the Russians.
They whooped the Russians.
That is not the easiest place in the world to fight. And you can halfway understand why they did that because of the terrain that was there.
Yep.
Okay, you could halfway understand that, but Ukraine is not Afghanistan.
No.
Right. Exactly.
And no.
What I tell you something else too, and what I found intriguing for those that aren't keeping up with this one, and Byron hit it on the head earlier. They really are trying to push this, but in actuality, the soldiers are so ill-equipped going into this. They were ill-informed. They're ill-equipped. Do you realize how many bunkers were built in the shadow of the nuclear reactor that had,
I know.
And now they're getting reports of hundreds of soldiers from radiation poisoning.
He's talking about Chernobyl, by the way.
So it is a huge thing. Thank you. I was having lost it for a minute there.
That's right.
But so they are. There is a serious lack of leadership, and I agree with Byron on this one. I think the biggest issue is that you've got somebody who has a bigger ego than the previous administrator, who has said, this is how I'm going to do it, and results and reaction, it's just...
Here is what, real quick,
go ahead.
Here's what Putin has done. He's arrested a bunch of his generals.
Right.
And what's happening now is he's sending somebody in there who he thinks is going to get results. The guy, they actually has the nickname of the Butcher of Syria.
Correct.
Okay. He's going to send this guy in there, and he's going to try to do this to the Ukrainians. And what he's going to do is he's going to make it even worse.
Sure.
Because these people are already kicking your butt. And you start killing more citizens than you already have, we need to do something. We need to do something about this. Biden needs to look at of course, this is a pipe dream for me even saying it. He needs to look at Putin and go, stop now, pull your troops out, or there's about to be serious consequences. And if you launch a nuke at us, we are going to kill all of you.
Yep.
Every single one of you.
Yeah.
And that, to a person that has an ego like Putin has, will stop him from doing that. He would have to be backed into a corner and his own government about to remove him before he did anything like that. Yeah. And I don't believe he can do that anyway because he's got a process he has to go through to launch missiles.
All right.
And we can detect that.
Yes, we can. Yeah. I want to say, go ahead.
Quit buying the nonsense about, they will just blow us up. No, they won't just blow us up. If he keeps on, blow his troops back into the Stone Age, use our technology to target his silos and those mobile missiles, and ruin him. Mm-hmm. It's our fault the Ukrainians can't protect themselves.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. The reason I say that is because they had a ton of nuclear weapons
yes, they
in
did.
the Ukraine. Bill Clinton basically talked them into disarming themselves. They disarmed themselves, and guess what? We didn't give them anything in return for those nuclear missiles that they basically gave us to destroy. So they were left defenseless. Russia's already done this once.
Yep.
I mean, in the last 4 or 5 years. Now, 6 years. I don't think that was during Trump's administration. That was during Barack Obama's administration that they did that. Now he's back there again. It's because he knows that they don't have a lot of weapons. You can't underestimate the people who have lived through what the Ukrainians have lived through under Russian influence. They remember the stories that their grandparents and great-grandparents told them about how Stalin starved about 5 million people to death.
Yeah, that's true.
Putin is cut out of the same cloth. He's KGB. He's communist through and through. And these people know that. And they're going to fight with every breath that they have to keep Russia out.
Sure.
We need to help them.
Let me bring something to you guys and to our audience as well. And all of us has played it. Have you ever played King of the Mountain?
Absolutely.
Remember we was back in the day?
Yeah.
All right. So let's say that me, Michael, and you, we're down on the bottom. Okay, we want to be the king of the mountain, but Big Teddy Bruschi is standing at the top of it. It's probably unlikely that you're just going to rush up there and try to take Big Teddy Bruschi down one-on-one. Why? Because he's just going to throw you off.
That's right.
And that's what this is right now. Putin is calling all the shots. He's the king of the mountain.
Yep.
Joe Biden and his staff are at the bottom. I don't even know. Byron, you tell me if I'm wrong. I don't even see them trying to make a move up the mountain to knock this guy off.
They're not.
No.
And
Here's the problem. There's ways to do this without getting in a direct conflict with them.
right.
And England has started that. The Prime Minister has met with the Ukrainian president, and they are providing them the military support that the U.S. will not do because they don't want to jeopardize what they're currently all the underhanded things that's going on.
Poland offered them earlier this year a bunch of jet fighters that they're used to and have the actual.
They have the knowledge.
And they have the supply lines already for them.
Yeah.
Try to facilitate it to the United States. They would not do it. And I'm sitting here going, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know how many times we did that to the USSR? Not only in South America did we do it, but all over Europe. You know how many times we did that? Mm-hmm. And they didn't launch missiles on us?
That's right.
But now we're scared half to death that Putin's going to launch his nuclear weapons. They will incinerate Russia before that happens. I don't think you understand. This guy is using technology from the 60s and 70s, and we're using technology from guess when? Right now.
Now.
Oh, but his supersonic bull.
All right. So Putin, let me get back to my king then. So Putin's the king of the mountain right now, right? Because he's calling all the shots, and we're not advancing anywhere near to try to knock him off. But now let me reverse this. If President Donald Trump is in office, guess who's sitting at the king of that mountain? Putin maybe trying to climb up there. But guess what Donald Trump and his 6'4" self does? He takes his foot and he kicks old boy in the face and knocks him down the mountain and says, "Hey, try another way because you ain't getting up this way." And Donald Trump would be calling all the shots right here. This would never be happening. Like Michael said, you said, none of it. The fuel wouldn't be sky high. Food wouldn't be sky high. You wouldn't have the debacle in Afghanistan.
$7 trillion wouldn't have been spent.
Right. You wouldn't have the debacle in Afghanistan. You wouldn't be talking about the Russians invading the Ukrainians. And you know what else I'm fearing is, and I'm seeing some things, what's next?
Well, the oil,
Because
Finland and
there's something
Sweden.
next.
You know, he's threatening Finland and Sweden because they're joining the NATO.
And NATO, yeah.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about this. The other thing that Donald Trump would have done but they never would have shut down the pipelines.
No.
And we would still be the world's biggest exporter of oil.
Yep.
How about America First? How about we quit with this pipe dream about electric cars? How about we stop that? Until we have the technology to do what we need to do with electric power, how about we stop that? And how about we stop lying about it in the first place? Because when you fuel an electric vehicle, it is coming from two places. It is coming from coal fire plants, and it is coming from nuclear plants.
That's right.
Both of those things are taboo to people who want green. And let me tell you what mining for lithium does. Why don't you Google a picture of what a lithium mine looks like and how bad it looks for this earth? Then why don't you look and see how you dispose a lithium-ion battery and what you're supposed to do with those big lithium-ion batteries out of your cars? It's a technology that is not perfect. Now, are there some advances? Sure. When it's capable of doing what it's doing in a manner that gas vehicles do, if you want to try to start replacing gas with that, I won't have an issue with it. Yeah, I actually probably will, because there's no reason to get rid of a resource that is usable like gasoline is. I'm sorry. There is just no reason.
While we're talking about this, trivia question, Michael, Byron, and Dave. What is President Biden doing to ease gas prices? What does he want to do, Mike?
So,
Mike knows the answer.
So the president has proposed that they relax the ban dealing with ethanol and
Hey, Mike, you read it.
as they get into the summer months because of the transition to the summer fuel, which is going to drive prices up even more.
Right.
So they're talking about rolling back the ethanol requirements that would, in their world, would lower the gas prices.
Do you know what percent ethanol that is? Do you remember reading it?
I think they're talking, I want to say 2 or 3.
15%.
15?
Yes.
Okay, well.
It's even
Allowing gasoline that uses a 15% ethanol blend to be sold by the summer.
we have an ethanol blend already, but this is a second version, which is crappier.
It is,
Yes.
because the
And
ethanol.
it's there's only out of, I'm thinking,
There's one in Menlo, Iowa.
there's only 20% of the vehicles out there that would even use the.
We'll take it even further than that. Any small motor, your lawnmowers, your generators,
Yeah.
any power tool like that
Yeah.
ethanol fuel will
Destroy
destroy it.
it.
It destroys it because there's water in ethanol.
Right.
Called the E15. E15, the blend can cost 10 cents per gallon less on an average at the 2,300 gas stations where it's sold, officials said.
And my
2,300.
my response to that is I'm going to pay 10 cents more a gallon so
Yes,
I don't have
so I
to buy
don't buy
a
that
new vehicle or
garbage.
new lawnmowers or anything else.
Yes, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
200 and something thousand gas stations out there, and they're talking 2,300.
Yeah.
That's a dent, not even a
Not
dent,
even a dent. That's right.
barely a scratch.
So y'all know that I've got my little lawn service. Still got to come do your lawns, by the way. I know that. But guess what?
Sorry, brother.
No, you're all right. So guess what? My mowers, both of my Tiger Cats, guess what? They're down right now. Do you know why?
The gas.
This is the ethanol.
Because
The ethanol has destroyed my carburetors. Now, I could probably rebuild them myself, and I'd probably do that. You know what I mean? It's going to take me some time. But or I can take them to the shop and get them either way. But I am down right now because of what Mike said, that garbage.
The only place in Stark that you can find, I think, a non-ethanol gas is the landscape place
correct.
over by
Correct.
KOA
Right.
and behind Harry Business.
Right.
Right. And
So, you know what that's going to force me to do once I get this fixed?
That's $5 a gallon too.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know
I
what
was
that's
about
going
to say,
You know what that's going to force me to do?
raise your prices.
Absolutely. And guess what? Yeah, I haven't talked to y'all yet about it, and I know y'all ain't worried about it, and I don't worry about you guys. But my regular customers are asking me, well, we haven't gotten a raise lately, and you're talking about upping to do my yard. Yes, ma'am. I have to put diesel in that truck at what, Mike?
Yeah.
555 a gallon?
It's down to 530.
Okay. So 538 a gallon. 538 gallon. I got to put diesel in that truck.
That's right.
Now, this garbage is going to force me to run premium in my mowers.
Or worse yet, you'll have to go get the marine grade
Marine
up there at
grade
the shell
fuel
station.
at the shell station. Or I have to go get the
That's
marine
what
grade.
I have to use that in my generators, both at where at my regular job and on the fire trucks. I have to use the non-ethanol fuel, otherwise I'll burn up my generators. And I don't want to do that because it's going to cost me even more money, like you said, dealing with your carburetors.
Yep.
You look at all of this, and you look at all the costs that people are incurring, and you have to understand what happens. People don't understand simple economics when it comes to this stuff. And the problem is when you start talking to a business person, they are not going to eat the cost.
Oh, absolutely.
It is going to be passed on to the consumers.
That's right.
So when everything goes up like it's gone, it's not business people that are going to pay for it. It's us. So when the government starts screwing with stuff like what they've done in the past 2 years, guess who pays for it?
Exactly.
Us. When you start raising taxes, which is another thing that they want to do on business people or corporations, guess who pays for those taxes?
Well, our minimum wage is going to be up to $15 an hour. So
terrible.
everybody will have all kinds of money to spend.
Bull, because what's going to happen is the businesses are going to jack up the prices on that. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I have a lot of experience, and I am going to demand, when that goes up, that my company pays me an equal amount to the money that's gone up.
Absolutely.
Over the last 3 years.
That's the way it's going to happen everywhere.
And what's going to happen is they're going to start losing good employees because they're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
People are going to say, well, why would you do that? Because my experience means something, not only to me, but it should mean something to these businesses.
So, besides you guys, some of the customers that I've got are elderly people.
Absolutely.
And I want to be a nice guy. I'm trying to be a nice guy. I want to help. I want to help. But you can only help so much before you start cutting off your nose to spite your face. And I hate to bring that to an elderly lady, which I always preach here, that's on a $1,500 a month allowance to live on. And now I've got to tell her, ma'am, I'm sorry, I've got to charge you $50 instead of $40. And I hate to do that. And guess what? Honestly, I'm going to have to, but I haven't done it yet.
Would you believe I've had somebody come by one of my places, the smaller place,
Okay.
who gave me an estimate. I told him I already had a guy. I was very happy like that. He goes, oh, I could beat whatever he does. And I'm like, no, you can't. And he said, no. He says, for this property right here, he says, I'm
waiting to hear this. I'm waiting to hear this number.
He said he could do the small lot.
Don't tell me $100.
$125.
Oh, you kidding me?
He says he's the lowest price. $125. I just smiled.
Oh my
Nodded my
God!
head.
Did you?
Nodded my head, and I said, you probably need to reevaluate. Now, he went over to a neighbor's house, doing the same thing, and to make sure that he was getting his money's worth, he mulched their lawn and worked on a lawn for that size lot.
Right.
Solid center, right? Same size property next door for 4 hours, back and forth.
What was he trying to do?
I don't know, but he's definitely, I understand why he charges so much, because he's clearly not going to have a lot of clients if he's going to take that long just to cut grass.
So I can pull up to this place to the residence Michael's talking about. I can pull up to this place. Michael can be standing out there. One of us will grab a weed eater. One of my boys grab a weed eater. Boom, boom, boom. I take the lawn. We are there. If we're there, seriously, Mike, tell them, more than 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
We're goofing off. We're talking. We're bull crapping.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. and he is looking at $125. Now that's ridiculous. Now, jacking it up maybe a little bit because of gas prices, things like that. If you explain that to the customer, absolutely they'll understand.
Absolutely.
But I just hate, man, I just can't stand looking at this lady. And thank goodness my mowers are down right now. I need to get them fixed, and they are getting fixed. But I can't go back and say, Mrs. So-and-so, I need to jack your price up $10. And because you know what she's going to do? She's going to go, David, I can't afford you.
That's right.
And now I feel like absolute trash.
David,
So
And you're losing income.
I'm right. Yes.
Yeah.
Even though I know where I need to be, like you were talking about your profit margins, where I need to be,
Yep, absolutely.
I have to take what I say, and if I mean what I say, just like you guys do when we say this. If I say, hey, I want to take care of the elderly, then I have to. So guess what? Probably one of my other clients is going to wind up, even though it's not fair, is going to wind up bringing up that little margin.
Yeah.
well,
You see what I'm saying? But you wouldn't know that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
well, David, people are going to do things like that to help. If you're an honest business person, you're going to do things like that to help people.
But we preach it here on the show, and you're right. But we preach it here.
You're going to do
We
stuff.
look out for our, you know what I mean, our elderly.
Here's what I'm going to say about this, and it infuriates me when I have these conversations. This lies on one of our political parties.
Yes, it sure does.
All of it, every single bit of it. And we have people that believe that this is ways things are supposed to be in this country, and it's a good thing for this country. I'm sorry. You should never vote again for the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Because of things like this.
True.
But we have this about every 4 to 8 years where it's so bad under the, and then we get this crap. We had it under the Obama administration. We had it under, well, we really didn't have it under the the Bill Clinton administration because of Ronald Reagan and a certain person who was the Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, thank you very much, who drugged basically Bill Clinton kicking and screaming to doing the right thing so the economy wouldn't go this. But you had it under Jimmy Carter. And if you keep on going back, you will find every Democrat president we had problems like this, with the exception of Roosevelt, because we were at war,
Right.
in which really he had a problem at the beginning because if there hadn't have been a war, the economy had tanked and we had the Great Recession.
Right.
So every Democrat, and you can follow it all the way back to Wilson, pretty much has had the same effect, and people still keep on electing these dolts. Why they keep on doing it, I don't know. I can't figure it out. I guess they want to suffer. I mean, it's the only thing I can figure out. Why would anybody, especially if you have kids, why would you vote for these dumb idiots?
Because remember that a lot of people are living off the government. So it's not costing them as much as what the rest of us that have real jobs are doing.
Well, the answer is real simple to that.
It is.
Our government's function is not to give people money to live off of.
Unfortunately,
It's not.
it's happening. But
I know it's
you're
happening.
correct.
It started with Guess Who Johnson, another Democrat president.
Yeah.
And you know what he said about that? Talking about putting people in chains again.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he did. Only put everybody in chains, this time to the government.
So, Byron, this has been a great show so far. I want to wrap it up here. I do want to talk about one little small thing in conjunction with what you guys talked about. Inflation rate soars to a fresh 40-year high in March because of surging energy and food prices. Yes, so let me inflation at a fresh 40-year high as continuing surges in gasoline, food, rent costs more than offsets moderating used car prices. The consumer price index leaped 8.5% annually, the fastest pace since December of 1981. Do you know who was president in December of 1981?
I do.
I do too. One of my favorite guys. One of your favorite guys, Mr. Ronald Reagan.
Here's the problem. That was at the beginning of his term.
Yes.
And he was dealing with a mess from guess who? Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
And it was amazing how quickly he turned that around and gave everybody prosperity on into
Right.
the next 2 or 3 presidents that we had.
Yeah.
So the Labor Department said Tuesday that's up from 7.9% in February, and inflation now has notched the new 40-year highs for 5 straight months. Prices rose 1.2%, Dave, from their February level, the sharpest monthly increase since September of 2005.
Right.
The main culprits, gasoline, and
Imagine that.
yep, was the chief culprit at 18.1% of that.
Imagine that. I am telling you, people can't afford to drive anywhere, and it's by design. They want us out of our gas vehicles. They want us driving around in an electric vehicle. Wait till you buy one and you get the expense that you have to pay for that crap.
Yeah. Exactly.
What happens when the batteries die and you have to pay $8,000 for 2 batteries?
I keep my Jeep. Keep it the Jeep.
I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go find an old age model vehicle and I'm going to buy it and restore it.
Sure.
My age model truck is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And I'm going, when they look at me and they go, is all this emissions crap in there? I'm going to go, no, it's not.
No.
This is a classic car. You can pound sand because I can have this and I can drive this. That's
right.
Go away.
Mitchell's got a good point. You know what? And I could probably do that, Mitchell, to some extent. I could probably get away with it if I did my yards right and also had a plug-in where I could keep my batteries charged. I'll go all power equipment. Let me tell you something. I bought a blower from Lowe's, Michael, yesterday for the shop. 640 CFM.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
The battery was that big, but it wasn't heavy. Put that thing in there.
It was steel.
Brother, I accidentally turned it on in my parts room, and then I had a bunch of papers on my desk. I went blew everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was that powerful. Don't think I won't. I will. I may go to some electric tools.
Steel?
Battery power.
Was it steel?
No, it was a
Works?
it was a Levo, something like that.
Yeah.
It's from Lowe's. Hey, the daggum thing was $299. So, oh yeah. So, well, I bought 2 of them, and I'm gonna tell you what.
Yes.
My line 3 supervisor says, "I love that thing, man." He says, if we need to, you keep buying those. I'm telling you, it's blowing steel dust. It works when you got those batteries charged up. Mitchell's absolutely right.
Yeah, they work really well, but I mean,
Yeah, I know. I get it. There's downfalls. Hey, if you're mowing 10 yards in a day, how you gonna keep? You better have a bunch of batteries. How you gonna keep those things charged?
True.
So, all right. One quick thing. You got one quick.
yeah, go ahead and go.
Well, I want to promote Mitchell for tomorrow night.
Sure.
Go ahead and hit.
Real quick.
Go ahead and hit yours.
Common sense needs to rule your mind on politics right now. You need to turn off all of the news stations, and it doesn't matter whether it's Fox or whatever else. You need to look at what's going on in your own life, and you tell yourself if this is better than it was 2 years ago.
Right.
And if you can come up with the answer, yes, it is better, then I don't know what to say to you, because this is ridiculous, is what this is. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening to my ranting and raving.
No, that is awesome. As a matter of fact, I want to promote Mitchell Gunner just a little bit tomorrow night. Y'all notice that Mitchell has not been sitting in on the show. That's because Mitchell has got a great opportunity. We all sat and talked about it. If you don't know what's going on, and we've created something that's right up his alley. Very sharp, very smart when it comes to this, because he does it. Created a page called On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. It's tied into our page. Mitchell Gunner is the new host of that show.
Right.
He's done 2 shows. He's done wonderful.
Really well.
Yeah, he has. He's got 2 co-hosts that we're hoping are going to come on, trying to work out some logistics. One of them is CC Marie, and the other one's Amy Cohn. And we're trying to get them coordinated so they can be his co-host each and every week. If not, one of us gentlemen will be joining him. His show starts at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. That's On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers, and he's got a great show lined up tomorrow. I don't know if you've seen his guests, but first and foremost, he's going to have Erica Enders on.
Yeah.
All of us love her for sure. And then he's going to have this other guy. I'm not so sure who he is. His name is Quadra, Christian Quadra, I think.
I'm not sure. I cannot keep up with the
me either.
drag racing.
Oh, here he is. Yeah, let's see here. So Christian Quadra and Erica Enders will join Mitchell Gunner live tomorrow. He'll bring them on. They will be on camera. Mitchell's got questions he wants to ask. He wants to interview them. And so this should be a home run tomorrow night. He's going to talk about the Houston Raceway Park closing. He's going to be asking these guys some questions. Plus, you can join in and talk about whatever you want. If you got questions for Mitchell or our co-host, hey, this is a great time, especially if you love motorsports.
Really quick, if you don't know who Erica Anders is, you really need to look up who Erica Anders is.
Yes, you do.
She is a phenomenal racer who has won many titles.
Yes, absolutely. And easy on the ice, too, by the way.
Yeah, that helps.
I was not going to add that.
I know you was. But join Mitchell tomorrow night. Byron Bagwell, I want to thank you for coming on, brother. Glad that you could be here tonight.
I am really glad that I made it tonight. I really am.
Yeah.
I love doing this show.
Absolutely.
I love running my mouth about politics.
Oh, no. And that's great because we need to.
The camaraderie and everything else.
Yes.
Hey, look, guys, just please use common sense. That's all you have to do right now.
Dave Holland,
Yes.
Come over here, Dave. Come over and stand in front. Dave doesn't get a lot of recognition because he's always behind the scenes, but everybody knows who Dave Holland is. Dave Holland, owner of Harry Business, one of the sponsors of our show, does a great job putting this together. If you think this is an easy task, putting this stuff together, the wrong answer. This takes a lot of time, a lot of creativity, a lot of, production equipment and stuff like that to put something like this together.
Following you guys, I got to be kind of quick.
And the other thing I was going to say is he has to deal with the Goon Squad.
Yeah, the Goon Squad. Yeah, so. But anyway, Dave Holland, our producer, does a wonderful job. Dave, I want to thank you for everything that you do each and every week.
Most certainly.
Hey, man, you are right on it, man. And we got some of the best graphics in the business. I'm going to tell you right now, I'd put our weather up against anybody's.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That right there, that little segment right there.
I can't wait till we get back into the green screen.
Oh, yes, and that's coming as well. We've got some other things planned as well. Michael, slide on back in. Michael Heater filling in for Mr. Mitchell Gunner. He's our third wheel right now, each and every week that he can be here. I know, if y'all don't know about Michael, Michael is running for what, Mike?
I am running for District 1 for the City Commission for the City of Stark. We've thrown our name in the hat. We're looking forward to a good, positive campaign and a lot of positive things happening in the City of Stark and around the region. So I'm excited about what's going to happen in the short and long-term future for the city.
Absolutely. So Michael, as this goes on into the summer and he start to get wound up and going out there visiting some of his constituents, he may not be able to join us here and there. He's going to be going to some meetings, so we may not have him a couple of Tuesdays a month, but when he can be here, he will definitely be here. If not, Mitchell probably will slide in for sure. Absolutely. And of course, I'm your host, David Rodgers. I love each and every one of you guys. I love the show. I love what we've got going on. I think there's some big things coming this way and toward Mitchell's way as well. The show is growing. I heard Dave tell a guy out there earlier, we've been doing this 4 years, man.
I know.
What are you doing?
This is crazy.
What are you doing? Excuse me. Who are you?
So, the show pony and the equalizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the show pony. Man.
Yeah, that's show pony. There you go. But I just like doing the show, and I want to thank everybody that's came on. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to get all the comments, but we know who you are, and we're definitely going to get you next week. Yeah. Congratulations to Melissa Cribbs for winning the $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. I will have that for you very shortly, and I think that's it. So we're going to wrap up the show. God bless you guys. It is Easter weekend. Please be safe, be careful. Michael's already told you about some church services that are going on. Little bit of a rainy weather, right, Mike, baby?
Chance of rain on Friday. Don't expect too much rain. Should be a fairly decent time, especially with temperatures, as we go through the next 4 to 5 days.
On behalf of Byron, Dave, Michael, and David, good night, Infidels. Love you guys. See you next Tuesday.